Good morning, students. So in this video we can discuss about the target language. So that means by simply how we can choose the target language or how to develop the code in target language. So actually code generator is the responsible for generating the target code. So in this session we discuss how we can generate the target code in a specific language. So actually while we will go for developing the best target code, so for that purpose we need some awareness, or we have some awareness with the target machine and its instruction set. So that means whatever the machine that while we will go for placing that particular code in the target machine, so that particular machine is which type of machine and that particular machine can supports which type of instruction set. So based on these basic information we can able to generate the good code generation. So in this session we can discuss how we will generate simple target code or simple target machine model, and how we can calculate the program and instruction costs. So now we discuss how we will develop a simple machine model, simple target machine model. So generally while we will go for generating the target code, so for that purpose actually we consider three address code as the input. So three address code as the input, and it can perform several operations like load, store and computation operators and jump operations and conditional jumps. So based on the whatever the code generated by the three address, sorry, intermediate code generator, so we can take that code as the input, and then based on that code we can perform some operations on the processor or on register memory. So such operations are load, jump and then store and any additional operations or some computational operators. So here while we will go for generating any target code, so for that purpose any basic computer or any computer can supports the basically some byte addressable machine or some byte addressable language. So to generate that particular byte addressable machine code, so for that purpose we can use basically some n number of general purpose registers. So based on these registers we can performing the calculations. So such registers are having some n number of registers. Those are numbered from R0, R1 and so on, Rn minus 1. So to avoid hiding concepts in a uncountable of details, so that means while we will go for generating the, or while we will go for generating the target code or executing that particular code, so at the time of execution it was having some hidden instructions or hidden count concepts. So to avoid such hidden concepts, so we can use very limited set of instructions and assume that all operands are as integers. So whenever we can assume these all instructions are some limited, then there was no need to hide some details in the programming or target code. So that's why we can use only some limited set of instructions, then we can easily develop the target code. So here most of the instructions consists of an operator. So that operator followed by target, and that target followed by a list of source operands. So that means for example add space R1 comma R2 comma R3. So that means here we can perform the addition of R2 and R3. So whatever the result of addition of R2 and R3, that result can be stored into the R1. So here R1 is the destination or target, and R1 R2 are the R2 and R3 are the source operators. So for example we consider how to performing the load operations and store operations, and then computational operators and conditionals and unconditional jump operations, label operations. So for example we consider some simple example for load operation. So there is some instruction. So actually this load instruction can be indicated with LD. So here there is some instruction, just assume like as LD space DST comma address. So that means here this particular instruction describes, so here we can load some destination address into the register's memory. So that means it can defaultly stores whatever the value was currently available in AC. So that means accumulator. So that value can be stored into this destination address. So for that is the intention of this particular one. So that means here destination is nothing but some specific value related address. So that value is stored in the some memory location. So whatever the value stored in that particular memory location, that value can be assigned to this destination. commonly we are using load instructions is in the form of ld space r comma x. The meaning of this one is, so here x is a some register, so that means this x value can be stored into the some register x, and then so this value can be assigned to the r value. So that means whatever the value stored in the x, that value can be assigned to the register r. So that is the meaning of the load space r comma x. So here finally whatever the value of x, so that value can be assigned to the r. So for example, there is another instruction in the form of ld space r1 comma r2. So here r1 and r2 are registers. So here we are copying or loading the memory from register to register, so which can easily performing the to compare previous one ld space r comma x and ld space r1 comma r2. Compare these two instructions, both are indicates the same operation, but here this is the register to register copying operation, and this is the one value to another value, or one variable to one address to another address copying instruction. So here compared to these two, here second instruction is the better to executing or better to providing. So that means compared to these two, here second instruction can be executed within short time. Why? Because both values are available in the registers. There was no need to fetching the values from memory to the register. But here first of all we fetching such value, whatever the value related to the x, that value can be assigned to some register and then stored that register value to the r register. And next, store operations. So actually store operation is simply used for copying the some value to the another variable or another register. For that purpose we are using the store operations. For example, there is an instruction like as st space x comma r. So here here it stores whatever the value of r, that value can be simply assigned to the x. So that means nothing but x equals to r. So here value of r is assigned to the x. And next, so some computation operations like so computational operations is in the form of operator space destination comma source 1 and source 2. So that means here operator indicates any operators like addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, such type of operators, and here destination means, so after performing that particular operation, that result can be stored into which variable or which register, which location. So that is nothing but destination. And here source 1 and source 2 indicates whatever the operands was used, whatever the operands we want to perform the some specific operator like addition or multiplication. So such source variables can be located in these source registers, source 1 and source 2. So now for example, consider some computable operator, some computational operations like a subtraction. So subspace r1 comma r2 and r3. So here sub indicates subtraction of r2 and r3. So that means we can perform r2 minus r3, and whatever the result, so r2 minus r3, whatever the result, that value can be assigned to the r1. So this is the form of computational instructions. So now we discuss how to performing the simple unconditional jumps. So here there is an instruction in the form of br space l. So here br indicates some branching statement and space l indicates some label. So that means whenever we are executing that particular instruction, it can directly skip that execution to the that particular label. And here there is some unconditional jumps. So some conditional jumps. So this one is unconditional. Here we are not checking any condition. Simply whenever we are seeing this particular label, simply skip execution of the instructions up to that particular label. So remaining instructions can be skipped from the execution. So for example, we are currently executing in first line. So this label was indicated in fifth line. Then we can skip the execution of second, third and fourth lines and directly move to the fifth line wherever label was mentioned. So that is nothing but unconditional jumps. At the same way, conditional jumps. So here we can check whatever the condition. If that condition is true, then go to that particular label. In case that condition is false, then simply go for the next instruction. So whenever that condition is true, then skip next instructions and move up to that particular label. Remaining all instructions can be skipped. In case that condition is false, then simply move to the next instruction. So for example, there is some instruction like b less than or equals to 0 space r. So that means here b value is the less than or equal, sorry, b value is the less than 0, then this r value can be skips, r value can be jump into the that particular label. So here whenever this particular b is less than 0, then it can allows the it can allows the execution, so that execution can be passes to the this particular label. So here by simply the meaning of this particular instruction is, so here the controller of compilation or execution can jump to the this particular label if the value in the register r is less than 0, then only the control of the execution can be skipped to the this particular label. Otherwise it cannot control, it cannot skips to the, it cannot skips any instruction in the execution or compilation process. So these are the some details about how to generate the target or how to choose the target mission, target code or target language. So now we discuss how to estimate the cost of the program or instruction cost. So whenever we will go for estimating the cost of instructions or program, so for that purpose first of all we choose or we estimate the cost of compilation time, compiling and running of a program. So that means that particular program can take how much amount of compilation time and how much amount of running time. So based on this we can estimate what is the cost of the that particular program or that particular code. So here while we will go for calculating the cost of the any instruction or any program, so actually it was depending on the some measurements. Those are what is the length of the compilation time and what is the length of the what is the size of the that particular program and how much running time can be required to complete that particular program execution and how much amount of power can be consumed to complete that particular program. So these are the some measures to calculate the cost of the any program or any target code. So actually to calculating the cost of the any running program is a very complex program, very complex problem. Why? Because to finding and best target program for a given source code is the which was depending on which is a undecidable problem. Why? Because it was not directly, we are not able to directly calculating the how much amount of cost or how much amount of time can be required to complete the execution of that particular code. Why? Because so that particular execution may or may not having some number of sub instructions or some number of sub problems can be involved to complete that particular program execution. So that's why we are not able to easily estimate the cost of the any program or any instruction. So for example we will consider, so we take the cost of an instruction to be 1, so 1 plus whatever the cost to take to complete that particular instruction by using the addressing modes, which type of addressing was used to complete that particular instruction or that particular operands are used, which type of in addressing modes, that means direct addressing mode or indirect addressing mode. So based on these addressing modes also the cost of the instruction can be varied. So for example we are using the we are performing any instruction, that particular instruction was executed by register memory. So then the cost of that particular instruction is 0, with then the cost of that particular instruction is 1 only. So that means there was no additional cost. So whenever we are performing some instruction with some memory location, so then the cost of that particular instruction is 1 plus another either based on the address location, that means 1 plus 1 maybe 2. So now we observe some examples how to estimate the cost of the program. For example, there is some instruction ld space r0 comma r1. So that means here we can load whatever the value of r1 into r0. So here r1 and r0 both are registers. So that's why to complete this particular instruction the cost is only 1. Next we consider one more instruction, load r0 comma m. So here r0 is a register memory, m is a normal memory, either it may be secondary memory or any other memory. So to complete this particular instruction, first of all we can load whatever the value of the m, that particular m can be assigned to some register and then copied that particular register value to the r0. So that's why it requires 1 plus 1. So totally the cost of this particular instruction is 2. So at the same way we can consider one more instruction like ld space r1 comma 100 of r2. So here 100 is the some pointer, so which indicates some memory location. So within that particular memory location, whatever the value of that particular memory location, that value can be assigned to the R2. So that's why it takes totally 3 cost. So why? Because so here actually 100, so whatever the value of address in particular location 100, so within that it was having one more value, so that means it takes totally 2 value, and then to complete that particular instruction it requires one more. So that's why total cost of this particular instruction is 3. So this is the process of estimate the cost of the program and instruction set. So these are the details about how to uh, how to generate or compute the target simple target machine model, and then how to estimate the program and instruction costs. Thank you.